Hi, it's Josie, and today I'd like to talk to you about one of the first exercises I teach my horses under saddle, and that is a turn on the forehand. Why do we teach them that? We teach them that for two reasons. One, it's actually a suppling exercise, and two, it teaches the horse to be obedient to your sideways driving aid. I teach this when they're fairly green because I need it to be able to do a leg yield. I need it to be able to get bend on a circle. The horse needs to learn to give to the sideways driving aid. Like any of these exercises, when you're starting to do smaller finesse exercises, there is a chance your horse could misunderstand what you're doing or become confused. If that happens to you, I would like you to just throw the reins at the horse, literally. Well, I don't mean like that, but if you're trying to do this and your horse threatens to rear, because that's one of the things they tend to do when they feel really jammed, let go, give him a way out. So all you need to remember to do is that if you feel like the horse is thinking about, he's a bit confused and he's going to go up, you know that feeling. Well, if you don't, I hope you don't ever feel it, but you do get the feeling, and I still do to this day. I will make sure I give my horse at least one rein, if not both, by just putting my hands forward. I don't literally throw the reins at them, I put the hands forward, because the horse usually won't do that if he doesn't feel trapped. Okay, that said, how do we do a turn on the forehand? Turn on the forehand, the horses are flexed towards the leg you're moving away from. That's the easiest way to remember it. If I'm moving away from my left leg, my horse is flexed to the left. If I'm moving away from the right leg, my horse is flexed to the right. I want you to try and learn this if you don't know it already, because it is important for you in your training that inside and outside of a horse has got absolutely nothing to do with the arena. It's to do with which side the horse is flexed. So if he's flexed to the right, he should make a slight curve to the right. The right becomes the inside. If on this side here, if he's flexed to the left is the inside. So inside and outside always pertains to a horse, has nothing to do with the arena, all right? I remember when I used to go, I don't get that. You don't need to get it, you just have to make it a rule, okay? Just learn it. The aids for the turn on the forehand, the inside rein gets the flexion on the horse. The outside rein, make sure that you don't get too much bend in the neck. You don't need really any bend in the neck. You can have a tiny bit to help the horse if you need to, but that's what the job of the outside rein is. I also use my outside rein in a squeeze release fashion if the horse goes to walk forward. My inside leg goes slightly back, so that'll be the leg we're moving away from. Remember, my inside leg goes slightly back, goes onto the horse, asks him to move his inside hind leg or the hind leg that's attached to the same side as the leg we're moving away from. I want him to pick that up and move inside the other hind leg. So I'm going to pick my reins up here, and when I'm on a really green horse, he's not on the bit or even in a frame or a shape, he can have his nose out there, but I don't want them pulling on the bit. I should be able to touch it just quietly like I am here. I'm just touching that bit there, and I can still ask him. See, he bent his neck then, so I closed my outside finger to ask his neck to stay straight, so I can flex him. And when you want to flex your horse to the inside, I'm just going to turn this way a little bit out. So look at my left hand here. So it's like this, and if I want Spider to do flexion, see what I did? I just turned like a key in a lock, or I made my little finger start to face my other hand over here. So to get flexion, if I do that, I've got some flexion. Straighten up, I've got some flexion. That's all it takes, okay? Here we go. Flexion, left leg slightly back. Right leg is not flapping in the breeze, but it's actually barely touching him so that it doesn't give him another aid, especially when you're beginning to teach your horse if he's green. I do actually take my leg right off a really green horse, so there's no conflicting aid for him. So I've got some flexion, left leg, and ask him to go over. Good boy. Now that was half a step and that wasn't even in front of the right hind leg, but in the beginning, who cares? As long as your horse makes a sideways step, even if he shuffles over and the front end goes in the beginning, you've got to start somewhere and you've got to be able to reward your horse, because that's what teaches him that he's doing the right thing. So flexion is still here, leg on, off. On, Spider can do better than that, off, sorry, on. He's thinking this is great, he can be a beginner. So one step at a time and then reward your horse. Flexion, on, off, on, off, on, off. I'm just going to walk him forward here, guys, and I'll do it this way as well. So now we're going to be flexed to the right and the right side becomes the inside. So I do it along a fence here because it helps take a couple of options away from my horse when I'm teaching them. If you've got a high fence or a wall, you're going to need to do it on the second track so the horses can get around without his head being bumped. So flexion to the right, leg is back, on, off, good boy. On, off, good boy. Flexion, on, off, good boy. On, off. And when I take my leg off, I will often give my outside rein a take give to try and stop the horse from walking forward at the same time. There's a lot of timing involved in these aids. And my suggestion to you is go out and play with it. Don't make it stressful. Don't get cross with the horse. If he can't do it, don't get cross with yourself. I think this particular exercise taught me more about the finesse of my aids than any other exercise I've done. So I really hope you enjoy it. I hope you play with it. I'd love for you to let me know in the comments how you went with it. And just remember that it's one of the building blocks of a foundation for the horse to understand what he needs to do, and actually for you as a rider to understand how your aids play with each other. It's a very good finesse exercise. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.